Now you get the drift, right? Now essentially again, take a step back, observe the entire traffic that goes between the systems, multiple status of the data, modify something, see what the system behaves, right? So there is no clear-cut way of how can I break these assumptions. I mean, I don't have a methodical approach. I basically work ad hoc basis. But if you have enough data references, you have a successful transaction, compare how data flows, now try unsuccessful, compare the data flow, modify things around, see at any point if a system accepts your manipulated data, right? And the best part is you have third party included in this, right? As Flipkart may be very strong, they have the best developers out there and it's the most secure system ever, but if a third party has a loophole, there's nothing you can do about it, right? Because you have to trust it. Maybe you'll have an offline process, but at this point of time, you could manipulate the data. So I'll give you a simplest example of questioning this assumption, right? I don't know if you have ever tried on this any e-commerce sites. So on the cart, you generally have a quantity as 1, right? And the price is 1 into the price. Have you ever tried making it 0.5? Right. Flipkart people, shut up, right? So try it out. Try it out. It doesn't work on Flipkart, I can guarantee you that. But no, so what I'm trying to explain is your hacking doesn't have to be hardcore technical zero-day exploit. The low-tech hack really works once in a while. You just have to be lucky. So, right, so essentially it works. I mean, it may work because backend system may do a seal of your value of the quantity, which becomes 1. Price becomes price into quantity, which is 0.5 into price, and you get half price. Everything for 50%, right? So this, no, it's funny, but it's kind of difficult to get this kind of thinking while you are trying to make sure systems are good. You will never think 0.5 as your quantity unless you have some sort of cracked mind, right? So, pardon me? This is basically a Photoshop. Right. So you get my drift, right? So so what we did right now, we tried 2 assumptions. Raju pays 130 rupees. Let's say I don't know how long it will take before we come to a conclusion that definitely Raju has to pay, he has to pay 130 rupees. I don't know how long it takes. It depends on the system integration, depends on the vastness of your system, depends on your skill set, depends on how, a whole lot of things. At some time you will have enough confidence, and I can say to Sachin Bansal, hey, you know what, on your site, nobody can buy free stuff, right? That's with the confidence I can say, because I'm trying to break the simplest assumptions that site is making, right? Now, let's move on to the next assumption, right? So this is basically assumptions, right? Oh, this is interesting. So what we assumed was Raju paid money. Now we have no questions. Raju actually paid. Good job. Bought 1 book for 130 rupees. The assumption is it was actually Raju who paid it, right? So this comes to importance because I said, remember we have prepaid instrument, right? Where money is already in your account, right? Now, if Raju paid a book using that wallet, it's called wallet in Flipkart lingo. As a system, as Flipkart, there's an assumption is Raju's money actually got deducted, right? It's Raju is the person who actually logged in and paid it. Now, as a hacker, this is a prime target, right? So I know Amod Malia has 1,000 rupees in his wallet. All my target right now is to, can I log in as Amod, right? And use that 1,000 rupees. I'll buy MP3s and ebooks because that's a faster fulfillment. There is no way he's gonna catch me, right? I mean, I know enough to stay anonymous, but that's all right, right? That's not a problem. So basically, we are questioning Raju. That is actually Raju who is the logged in person. How do I break this? This is the simplest one. I need answers. I'm talking too much. Yeah? Session manipulation. Good. Then? Okay, none of you can become hackers. So, simplest. I'm gonna guess Amod's password as password 1234. Will that work? I don't know. I'm just saying, right? If that works, good job. I don't have to go any more far beyond that, right? We'll have offline conversation, man. Amod is my manager, yeah? So, I'm going to try guessing the password. There are way too many, most used passwords available on the internet. You know, password 1234, QWERTY, I love you, bunch of those, right? So I'll try all of those, right? I have to. I can't give a, you know, I can't say, you know, Amod's actually intelligent enough to have a better password. I mean, that's my target. I can't have, no. See, if you have assumptions, that's a problem. The entire security is a problem because we had assumptions. And I can't have assumptions, so right there. Okay, so password guessing didn't work. What do I do now? I'm going to go offensive mode, full on, right? So I'm going to download that rainbow table. I'm going to download the 30,000 most used password list. I'm going to write a Python script, run the brute force on Flipkart, right? And again, I will have to do a little more recon or information gathering. What are the different ways in which I can log into Flipkart, right? There's main website, there's mobile website, there is apps, and probably there's an API, right? There's a login at the checkout. There's a login, post your session gets stale, and you're trying to buy something, it says enter password again. Maybe that's a different call, I don't know. So there are like at least 6, 7 different ways in which I can log into Flipkart, right? So Flipkart, replace that with any other e-commerce site. Flipkart is because that's what I work on, right? So brute force. I'm going to run the script and see if I can crack it, right? Well, didn't. Flipkart did a good job of, you know, blocking me. Can I hijack the session, right? So hijack session is very much, you know, umbrella term. This is a fairly complicated thing, as in multiple ways to hijack things, right? The simplest way is, everybody remember the first cat picture, right? Or do I have to show it again? Right? Huh? Dude, it's a difficult task on this to go back, man. Okay, my computer may go out of power, but that's okay, yeah. So this is a classic example of a cross-site scripting, right? Here, what I'm trying to do is, if you see the URL up there, there's a source equal to a picture, cutecat.jpg, right? That picture comes here. Instead of a cutecat.jpg, I could very well have a JavaScript which captures your cookies and sends it to my Apache server running on a AWS somewhere, like some instance somewhere, right? And I can use it through. So all I had to do is, hey Amod, here's your passport leak, right? A link to him. He's guaranteedly going to click on it because Harsha is sending it, right? Trusted security guy. So he's going to click on that. And his data on the Flipkart, the session data, is registered on my browser, on my Apache server. You know what? Then I say, hey, sorry, wrong link, sorry, fooled you, whatever, done. I'm logged in as him. Easy money, right? So that's one of the ways I can you know, hijack his session. So there are multiple other ways, but that's not where I'm getting into, right? I'm just trying to give an idea how to break an assumption, right? Too much technical details. Don't look at that. Next. Okay, nothing works. I couldn't hijack. He didn't click on my link, right? Or Flipkart didn't have a cross-site scripting. Screw it, I'm going to go steal the database. How do I do that, right? So basically simplest answer is SQL injection, right? So somewhere, somebody forgot to escape my data, and I could very well inject a SQL statement, which basically says, give me the entire database in a single sentence, but it'll take half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, but anyway. So I'm going to download the entire database, figure out the password, then log in as Amod, right? In my case, Raju, but Amod is right there. Awesome, yeah? So this is how I would try to get into breaking the assumption that it's actually Raju who logged in and trying to purchase stuff, right? That didn't work. You know what? If you see the Flipkart site, it has Facebook and Twitter integration, right? Third-party systems, big, awesome stuff. So can I play around with the OAuth protocol it uses, right? I don't know. Flipkart developers actually used vulnerable, outdated libraries. I don't know. I have to test that. Can I play around with it so that when I click on the Facebook login, I log in with Sriharsha's ID, but when the data goes to Flipkart, can I modify it so that I can log in as someone else, right? I'll try that. So again, as I said, there are multiple ways in which I can log in mobile apps. Then there's phishing attack. It's pretty much the same as hijacking the session. Vulnerability, but I'm going to send you, it's called spear phishing in security lingo. I'm going to do a targeted attack, send it to a particular person, make sure he clicks on it, and I got the data, I log in as him, right? Doesn't work. Clickjacking. So this is another lingo. Basically, if I'm, so you understand iframe, right? So you basically have Flipkart. If I can get Flipkart into an iframe, on the top of that, I'll have a very transparent another frame running, which is capturing your keystrokes. You wouldn't see it unless you're really careful and you have enough plugins on Firefox that says, hey, there's an extra frame loading, all those jazz. But for a common person, he will definitely start typing his username password, and you know what, the running JavaScript on my iframe will capture those and send it to me, right? Now I have the username password, I'm logging as him. That didn't work, right? What next? Social engineer. I'm gonna call up Raju. Hey Raju, this is Flipkart customer support. We just lost our database, we need your password. I mean, don't laugh at me, it'll work. It will work. At one point or other, with the proper messaging of the words, it will work, right? Or I'm gonna, I mean, there are multiple ways of, social engineering itself is a 3-day-long course, right? So, exactly, I'll try that. I mean, my aim is to break that assumption that Flipkart thinks it's always Raju who is logging in. So I'm gonna try this. Doesn't work, right? Basically, this is a small setup list in which I can try to log in as someone else, right? Bunch of these are technical, bunch of these are purely technical, bunch of these are not. These are all social skills, right? So that's a big part of the security that's coming up, right? So I'm trying all of these options, right? So up to my knowledge goes, I'll try everything. If none works, I'm gonna say, hey, you know what? On my site, you can't log in as someone else, right? That's the confidence I get because that particular small assumption I made, it cannot be broken, right? I have enough systems around the, stuff around the system that makes sure I can't break this, right? Next assumption. Raju pays $130, buys one copy of Revolution 2020, right? Can he play around with the product ID? Can he play around with the session data in which he can replace the product, buy a Samsung Galaxy S3 and buy it for 130 rupees? I don't know, I'm just asking questions. This is the assumption Flipkart makes as an e-commerce site, say that Raju pays this much and buys the Revolution 2020. As a hacker, I say, really? And I'm going to play around with that. I don't have example. I'm not going to go through the whole list of possibilities in which you can break these assumptions because this all depends on the implementation at the site of a particular website. Whatever works on on Flipkart may not work on something else. What works on other side or some other side may not work on Flipkart. So these are all customized solutions which each websites have, and your attack vector will be customized for that particular website, right? So if you catch my drift, what I basically did is state Flipkart's business in a simplest sentence. And you would observe that that sentence has a ton of assumptions. Now, take each of the assumptions, take a step back, think like a hacker, bring all the information you can, try each of the options in which it can be broken, right? So these are all the assumptions in this single sentence had. Raju pays, Raju buys a book, one copy. So question is of these assumptions. So if you go through this entire exercise right now, and I make sure that none of these assumptions are not broken, I can definitely say it's Raju who logged in, and he actually paid 130 rupees. He bought just one copy of Revolution 2020. I just made sure the simplest assumption with which Flipkart runs holds good, right? So this at the very high level, right? Now, it doesn't work every day to day. I don't come and make this assumption and break it. I don't do that. What I do though is when my product manager says, hey, we are bringing in a new feature, for example, reviews and ratings, right? Then I try to take a step back. Hey, this is the feature. This is what it's supposed to do. State in a very simple assumption, line. Bring out all the assumptions that Flipkart made, product manager made, and everyone made. Question those and break those. And hopefully you'll break it only before it goes to production, right? So essentially, breaking down the assumptions makes it much more easy to visualize what are the attack vectors. Otherwise, you know what? Whatever happened in the beginning where the entire plethora of security problems, you'll just get lost. You don't know what to do. Even if you spend 3 months to say, I have no SQL injection, I have no cross-site scripting, I have no request forgery, that's pretty much what you can say. You can't say, nobody can break your business assumption, right? So that's not the best way of doing it. So this is what I do on a daily basis. For everything that comes new to Flipkart, this is what I do. State the assumption in which the product has been made, break it, don't know what happens, but I'll make profit, right? Repeat. So this is the essence of how I run and my team runs security at Flipkart. And one thing to keep in mind is, if you found a vulnerability somewhere, for example, I could post a cat picture on Flipkart's website, means get the team to fix it, get enough automation around it to make sure it doesn't happen again, have enough alarms and alerts to make sure if someone's trying it, you know about it, right? So those are the standard security practices. That's not what you were talking about, right? So essentially, this is the essence of my talk, right? So everything has assumptions behind, and every assumption can be broken. If broken, fix it, else move on, right? That's it. So that was my recap. Okay, there you go, I'm done. Yes?
Right? Because you can order without logging in on the mobile
so
site.
I have enough, I know.
Because I just ordered something to some random address in Andaman and Nicobar Island.
Fair enough, I'll
So
explain.
how do you avoid, how do you doing that?
So that's a conscious decision to have an anonymous, you mean to say just an email, not the login?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you need an email and you can order stuff, right? That's a conscious decision. You can't do that on digital goods.
Right.
So on a digital good, we need login. So this is essentially security versus business, right?
Yeah, but
less friction, more security.
Yeah, but you end up having some script kiddie could start putting orders, and you basically get clogged.
He has to do it manually. He can't automate it. He has to do it manually.
Right.
If you do it X number of times, dire consequences will follow.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I can't really give away my trade secret, can I? Right. Any questions? Anything that looks suspicious? Yes.
Chrome plugins and Firefox plugins, right? Which can potentially inject any script into your.
Fair enough. So
right.
If there is a legal way of getting those plugins blocked, we will. If I don't have a legal way of blocking it, and your user actually installs it, his problem. I mean, that's my point of view. People may differ in their point of view, but yeah. Can't really speak about it, man. No, I can, right? So there are, I mean, no site is 100% secure, right? There are bugs. There are people who overlook stuff. There are, right? So the common things like cross-site scripting, I mean, that's why I have a cat picture. That's not a Photoshop, by the way. The cat actually happened. So there are common stuff that keeps happening, but mostly we catch it much before it goes to production. So the common web vulnerabilities you see, right? The cross-site scripting, probably we forgot to put the nouns on the, what do you call CSRF, cross-site request forgery. It happens once in a while and we catch it. Yep. I'll challenge you on that. Sure. Yeah. So everything is authenticated. They have a way in which they say, okay, this request is coming from, right? It's basically having a. It varies from service to service. Some service have some way of communicating. Yeah, it's right now it's a private key that's shared. Anything else? Yes. Right. So that's a good question and takes a long answer. So what happens is, pardon me? The question is, what's the typical workflow you follow in security to make sure bugs won't appear to production, right? Yeah. Do I have time? 5 more minutes. All right. So there are two things. One, at Flipkart, we have anywhere from 2 to 10 deployments a day on production, right? Code changes like that, right? That's a different way of testing. Then there's a planned, like long-term feature deployments or releases. That's a different way of testing it. So let me first catch the feature level things, right? So the moment product manager comes up with a fairly frozen PRD, product requirement document, says this is what it is. It gets circulated, and I jump in and say, hey, this has these kind of problems. So it's easy. Once you have a documented way of how things work, I'll have a documented way of breaking it, right? But the only problem is implementation is not there yet, right? So I'll have stuff ready, and I'll probably discuss it with the developers also, and say, hey, I'm ready with my stuff. You better don't put it on to test before it reaches me, right? But even then, things break up. Things break, and we catch it, fix it, make sure. So At Flipkart, security is P0. Any security issue is P0, priority 0, right? It has, we have 24 hours SLA to acknowledge the bug and fix it, and 24 to 48 hours to push it to production, right? But 95% of the time, it's much before 24 hours when the security bug gets fixed. It's a problem of finding, not the fixing, right? In terms of day-to-day fixes, right? So we have automation suites, right? The basic tests that, like a search bar and the whole easy attack places, we have a bunch of tests that says, hey, take care of this, take care of this, take care of this. Yes. So I get your question, right? So the answer has multiple aspects to it. One is awareness. So we security team do a regular security 101 session because we are growing. We have people coming in from everywhere, and there are freshers, everyone. So we just try to educate. Okay, these are the problems that exist in the website, like in the internet. Second one is we have libraries built in so easily that adapts into your coding practice. So for example, we use PHP as our front end. As a security guy, I probably shouldn't have said that, but anyway. So in PHP, we have all the strip tags and HTML and code. Instead of using as it is, we have a wrapper around it, and becomes much easier, and everyone knows it, right? Just use that function on your input that you're accepting, and things are taken care of. Same thing with the injection. Same thing with the cross request forgeries. Everything is easily built into your library. It's much easy to for developers to follow. Did I answer your question? Yeah, but I was interested in the technical. Okay. Yeah, the tests are run automatically. I'm not running them. Yeah. So they all run on the QA environment. Then there are few that runs on the pre-prod. Then it gets to production. So you follow that OWASP, yes. OWASP top 10 is our prime target. Then it goes beyond that. So OWASP is Open Web Application Security Program, which is open to all, and it has information, very rich information on all the security exploits which he was referring to. All right, so I think I'm out of time. You have a question? Yes, one last question. Yeah, done. So one thing on Flipkart, you can't get your session hacked. It's robust enough that even if I know your cookies and try it, it won't work for a bunch of other reasons. But general practice depends on the mercy of the website you're working on. There's no other way, right? Google will show you on the Gmail, on the show you bottom, it shows, hey, someone else is logged in with the your username, right? Facebook, if you enable secondary authentication, it says, hey, give me a name for this location you're trying to log in. And if someone else's give, it will give you a SMS or a call or a notification, right? Then, yeah, so there are a bunch of, it depends on, it's on the mercy of the website you're working on. Right, so I don't think I'm qualified enough to answer DNS poisoning. It's at the network security level. So I'm more of a web app security guy, and I'm trying to get into network security. I'm trying to use Nmap and stuff, but I'm not really qualified enough to answer that. All right, so I'm done. Thanks for the listening. I hope it was entertaining.